Hi everyone, today you might notice I'm wearing my glasses. That's because I've been diagnosed with an eye infection and I'm not allowed to wear my contact lenses for almost a week. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it, never mind. Today I'd like to do a book review on this beauty, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I'm going to start off with saying I didn't enjoy this book, but if you like it, that's great. I'm really pleased for you. If you want to read this, don't let my opinion put you off. I can only tell you what I thought of it. Please go do and read it yourself and make up your own mind. That's really important. So first up, this book follows two main characters. Leia, I think that's how you pronounce her name, but I'm not 100% certain, who is a scholar. She's effectively a slave race that's been downtrodden upon, banned from study and reading, and she effectively is surviving with her grandparents and her brother. Her brother has got caught up in something he really shouldn't have got caught up in and is dragged off one night by the masks, who are the Empire's guard system. They are pretty nasty though. The masks, they are the worst you could possibly think of when it comes to enforcement agencies. The Empire is the group of people who have enslaved the scholars, who have beaten them down, who tried to wipe them out and then thought, nah, they're not worth it. The masks are part of their system for keeping the scholars in line. The second character we follow is Elias, who is a mask in training. He is about to graduate, and right from the beginning we're made very clear that he is not happy with being a mask. He doesn't want to be one, and he is going to be deserting as soon as he graduates. He's got it all planned, he's all ready to go. And that's the basic plot. Two characters from either side of the border and how they get mixed up. The world I'm having trouble explaining because I don't really know that much about it. I've got a lovely map at the beginning. I've been given all these names, but I don't really know much about how this whole system works, why the Empire's only squash the scholars and not everybody else. I know why one race is left alone, because they're too far away, but you would have thought in the thousands of years that they've been squashing the scholars, they would have gone off and squashed everybody else. They're that kind of race. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a lot of violence in this book that is hard to stomach. I was about 4 chapters in, and bearing in mind chapters about 3-4 pages at the most. And we're with Elias, and a young boy, I'm talking less than 10, has been caught trying to escape. And the punishment is flogging to death. Now, it's not described in complete gory detail, but it's pretty visceral enough. And I did close the book thinking, yikes, that was a bit, I wasn't expecting that. And then there's more violence later on, and the way that Leia is expecting to be treated by these masks when they come to her home. And it seems a lot of the violence is in place for the sake of it. This young boy was flogged to death, so we know exactly what's going to happen if Elias gets captured when he deserts. Rather than actually telling us that's what's going to happen, they showed us, they used an insignificant character to do that. And I'm not sure if I agreed with that. It just seemed to be violence for the sake of violence. The other problem is there's an awful lot of mention of rape or implied rape or threat of rape. It seems to be every other chapter, particularly one with the masks, is about, oh, I'm going to rape you, I'm going to rape you, we're going to rape you. And it's like, really, seriously, we're going to have this all the way through the book. So a lot of what the violence was very unsettling, because I thought it was almost unnecessary. It was almost too much. It wasn't relevant to the plot. It wasn't really relevant to the character detail. So I wasn't comfortable with that. Now, I'm not saying that violence in books is a bad thing. I mean, I've read Outlander, and those of you that read Outlander know that violence is pretty high on its list of things. But for me, An Ember in the Ashes, the violence just didn't sit with the story. It felt very sadistically forced. which is not a good thing, I think. If you're going to have violence, it needs to feel as though it's right for the story, and it just felt jarringly out of place a lot of the times. When it did work, it was really good, but most of the time it just stuck out like a sore thumb, which is very, very bad. For me anyway, for me as a reader. The other problem I have with this is our two characters are effectively a romance happening that shouldn't happen, you know, the forbidden romance. That was pretty obvious early on. Unfortunately, this book then decrees to turn it into a love square. I've heard that phrase used a few times on BookTube referring to this book. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why we have to have so many different love aspects going on. It's like, no, it just got messy, and I didn't like it, to be honest. It just didn't fit right. It didn't feel right at all with what was going on in the story and in the main plot of Leia trying to save her brother and Elias trying to save his soul. But, you know, on the whole, it was a reasonably good story. It's certainly left at a point where we're going to have more. I won't be getting the next one. I don't really want to go back and visit this land. I didn't enjoy reading this book. I have to say it was a relief when I got to the end, because it's like, I really did not like the taste that was left in my mouth. It was like, you know, eating a cake that's not got enough sugar in it, and you just think, ooh. That's how reading this book felt to me. I didn't like it. Like I say, it's my personal opinion. There's nothing wrong particularly with how it's written. There's a bit of lack of detail about the world and about the characters. I think there's some unnecessary violence in it, particularly for, I think there's some unnecessary cruel violence, you know, violence just for the sake of violence. And yeah, when you get further through into the plot and you actually find that there's a group called the Augurs, I think, who are like an immortal group of people that are worshipped by the Martells. And they can see everything that's kind of going to happen and that has happened. So they're kind of manipulating events within the story to suit what purpose they want to come out of it. But if they knew everything that was going to happen, I'm pretty certain they could have made it a slightly nicer way of getting the results they wanted. They just seem to have done things for the sake of being cruel. And I don't think I like that either. You know, I know not everybody in the world is very nice, but it would be nice if in the book I'm reading there is at least somebody nice. Leia is a particularly weak character. Had this been real, she would have not lasted 2 days in the slave role that she's given. She doesn't seem to have that ounce of strength, inner strength, that's needed to get through what she's effectively given. So yeah, I wasn't particularly keen on her. Elias, sucky situation for the lad. I don't think he had any way out of this, but I didn't care really whether he lived or died, to be honest, which is really bad from one of your main characters. I didn't care enough about either of them to actually want to read any more of their story, which is a shame. You know, I was looking forward to reading this book. I'd heard good things about it, and I thought, yeah, this is something I quite fancy, but nah, not for me. So there we go. That's my, like I say, it's my personal view of An Ember in the Ashes. If you liked it, please tell me why you liked it, and that's absolutely fine. If you haven't read it and feel a little bit put off by what I've said, please don't let me put you off. Do go and read it and make up your own mind what you think. And when you finish it, please let me know what you thought. That would be lovely. Thank you for listening to me. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.